Nope. Chocolate.
Hey everyone, how you doing? This is Amon Green, Gourmet Packers all-time leading rusher, and you're watching Packers Total Access Live, your daily source for Packer content. Go Pack, go!
What's up, guys? Welcome into Packers Total Access. My name is Clayton. You can check us out on packernet.com. Find me on Twitter at Packers_access. Joined alongside Emilio in Tennessee. We got Tim in Green Bay. We got Jacob in Wisconsin here to talk Packers Browns. We got an awesome show lined up for you guys and gals. Had a little bit of an injury scare at practice today. Tucker Kraft leaves practice with a knee injury. We're going to give you all the latest updates around that. Is it good news? Is it bad news? We'll talk about that in depth. And we're going to unveil a new segment we're going to try to do every week if I have time, called The Game Plan. If you're on the Patreon group, you already know what this is. And we're just going to kind of put a game plan together each and every week for the Packers' upcoming opponents and just talk a little more in depth outside of just the PFF grades, just the rankings, all that, just kind of compile everything together and give you guys a nice little preview from a Packers perspective, I guess you could say. So before we do that, if you would, let's do that YouTube stuff. Hit like, hit subscribe. If you're new here, welcome into PTA. Thank you for making us a part of your evening. We're not experts here. We're not insiders. We're not media members. We are fans just like you, breaking down the Packers on the daily. So if you're looking for daily Packers content, if you're looking for film breakdown, if you're looking for pre-game shows, post-game shows, sometimes watch parties during the NFL week, this is the channel for you. Make sure you hit subscribe. Make sure you click that bell icon so you're notified every time we do go live. As Boz says here, 6,100 subs. That's right, Boz, man. It's taken off, and I can't thank you guys and gals enough in the chat that are always in here day in and day out. So what's going on, gents? How we doing?
Ready to go.
Good.
Absolutely. Beautiful day. Football on tonight. Let's go.
Yeah, man, we got it on right now. I seen they did a flyover earlier in the week. Somebody rented a plane pulling a banner that said "Fire Greer, Fire McDaniels." So
No way.
Miami's off to a roaring start down there. Yeah. So it's just a matter of time. If they lose tonight, if the Miami Dolphins lose to the Buffalo Bills tonight by 3 scores, I know that's a lot, Clayton. If they do, I think McDaniels is going to be up here with Matt LaFleur pretty soon as an assistant. I can see that happening. So, yeah. All right. Anything you guys want to hit on before we jump into the Tucker Kraft update here? Anything at all, gents?
Man, I just know that it's becoming my favorite part of the week is anytime Hafley does a press conference. It's just the guy. We've talked about it many times. It's actually very informative, and he doesn't just buzz past the questions. He gives really, really great responses, and I highlighted a few that if we can, I'll just pepper them in throughout the episode if it applies. So,
yeah, I like it, man. Sounds good. Let's get into the Tucker Kraft injury update. We got a little bit of a scare earlier today. He leaves practice with a knee injury, right? The initial reports, Ian Rappaport said Packers tight end Tucker Kraft, who had his breakout game against the Commanders with 124 yards and a touchdown, suffered a knee injury in today's practice, per the insiders. Kraft will have it fully evaluated, but the belief is it's not a long-term issue. So in real time, as the tweets started coming in, you obviously had the presser from the offensive coordinator there, Adam Stenavich. Rob Demovsky tweeted out, Packers offensive coordinator Adam Stenavich on Tucker Kraft's knee injury. Quote, hopefully he'll be all right. Hopefully he'll be all right. But we'll see how it goes. All right.
In other words,
I don't know. I'm not a doctor.
Exactly. Matt Schneidman tweeted out Jason Vrabel on Luke Musgrave in camp in the season if he takes on a bigger role because of Tucker Kraft's injury. This is the best I've seen him since he's been in the building. We're going to wrap back around to that here in a minute and talk a little Tucker Kraft. But the latest tweets were Adam Schefter saying, Packers standout tight end Tucker Kraft, who injured his left knee at Thursday's practice, got, quote, a little scare, but all good, end of quote. One source said after tests today. Another source added, quote, I think he will be okay. And then Ian Rappaport had tweeted out his quote tweet from earlier today. And then he said Tucker Kraft suffered just a little knee tweak. Sources say a little scare. He checked out okay. So in a matter of about, 30 minutes, I went from crap, Tucker Kraft's probably going on the 4-week IR to he may play this Sunday. I want to get your all's take on it, and then we'll talk some Musgrave.
I love the way us fans react to things like this, right? Because Tucker's our dude. You're going to panic right away. But you never want to just assume the worst. Hopefully it is, not a long-term thing, and he's going to be okay. I don't know if they're going to put a wrap or a brace or something on it or whatever. Are they going to call it a strain or a sprain or whatever it is? But we know that old Tuck Norris is tough as nails. So I don't think it's going to affect him too bad. Like Jen Wright's saying here in the chat, right on time. If anyone can play through it, it's Tucker. But then again, we have those questions, right? Do you want a guy to play through something and potentially, make a small problem a big problem? That being said, I think the answer is yes. I think absolutely he plays on Sunday against Cleveland. But I'm just glad it's not serious. That could have very easily been the next report we heard from Rap Sheet, that it was. So thank God it wasn't.
And there's a number of different ways you can kind of look at how the coaches responded and then the most recent updates, right? If let's say Tucker Kraft did have a significant injury, not enough to put him on the 4-week IR, but hey, he might miss a game, 2, maybe 3 games, right? If that's the case, that's how the coaches would respond. They wouldn't say, yeah, he's going to miss some time. They would want the opposing teams guessing, right?
Yep.
Right, Emilio? Like you would want them going, okay, is he really going to be available or not?
No, absolutely. And honestly, I was worried about Tuck during the game. I saw him get up a little awkward one time during that Washington game. So even if maybe he just re-aggravated it, rebugged him, if he can stand on it, plan on it, it moves, and they go up there and they move the shin, trying to move it away from the knee, and it stays solid. No ACL, we're good to go. Maybe just nice, little sprain. And yeah, he's the working man's Gatorade kind of guy. So I'm not too worried about it. But I did think that he kind of bugged it in the Washington game. So maybe this was, just a delayed thing where the pain really just started acting back up, planted wrong. And it just didn't feel right.
Yeah, Jacob, do you feel the same way Emilio does? Because it was, if I remember correctly, it was the Jordan Love run, right? Was the one where he got up slow, and I'm like, what the hell's wrong with Tuck?
Yeah.
Like I wasn't worried about Jordan. Jordan completely plowed through Trey Amos, and I'm looking at Tucker in the background going, what the hell's wrong with him? I got a little worried. Jacob, do you feel like it might have carried over, or is this something totally different? What do you think?
It's hard to say. As we always like to say, I'm no doctor, that. But I do feel confident that if it was even a little bit, I don't want to say serious, but if they just had any kind of question, I am comfortable enough with the depth at that position, whether that be with Fitz and Musgrave, if they want to bring up Sims. I just think Tucker Kraft plays with an absolute fire inside of him, and he goes hardcore every single play. So it's not the first time I've seen him get up kind of wonky. He does seem like he's the type of guy that, working man's Gatorade just kind of takes a drag of that, that Marlboro and just kind of flicks it and then rubs some dirt on the injury, and he seems like he's going to be all right kind of thing. So I'm not worried at this moment. Like you said, today when I saw the news, I was devastated. I mean, it hit me. I didn't realize how much. I really do think Tucker Kraft is my favorite Packer, and that's saying something because we got a lot of dogs on that team. So
yeah, dude,
to know that he could hopefully come back, if he does come back this game, that's just another testament that we got ourselves another Iron Man.
Yeah, completely agree. Respect Orange just says it did look like his knee on that Love run, but Kraft said it was a cramp. I think it might be his knee, but he played like hell the rest of the game. So I could see him being like that too. If it was the knee and he jumps in and goes, no, guys, I'm good. It was just a cramp.
Yep.
Keep me in there, right? He's that type of player. So we'll see, though, man. Again, I think this has been good news. Now, let's assume, and again, I'm not saying he's going to miss Sunday, but let's assume he's going to miss Sunday. How do we feel about it being Musgrave, Fitzpatrick, and then do we still have Ben Sims on the practice squad? Am I thinking right, guys?
Yes.
Right. So if you had to go out there with those three, and we pointed out that they showed a lot of 13 personnel. We played, I think, fifth most 12 personnel, which is one running back, 2 tight end sets, 2 wide receiver sets in the entire league. So if we go out there with Luke Musgrave, he's off to a pretty good start, albeit just 38 offensive snaps, grade down to 73.8. John Fitzpatrick, 54.3. Obviously, you'd like to see that a lot better, but in a more pass-catching role than just pass blocking and staying in on some of those safe looks. You like what he can do in the passing game as well. Ben Sims obviously hasn't played a snap here. So if you're talking about, hey, you got to go out there against the Browns and play Luke Musgrave, John Fitzpatrick, and then bring Ben Sims up to the active roster, Tim, I feel pretty good about that. So the point I'm trying to make is if there's an inkling of anything with Tucker, hey, let's play it safe here. Let's sit him down. Make him sit down, right? Unlike Christian Watson, we let him talk us into putting him out there. You know what I mean, Tim?
Absolutely. And it's tough, though, with a guy like Tucker Kraft, though, right? Because he is such a monster. And, a guy like that says, I'm fine. You tend to want to believe him, and you don't want to hold him back. But we got big fish to fry this year. We got a Lombardi trophy to bring back to 1265. And I don't think we should, you can't not take chances, but it's early enough in the season. And I think with, your point about Musgrave, Fitzpatrick, and Sims, and then you combine that with, our backs like Brooks, Emmanuel Wilson. I mean, we got Savion Williams. That's a big receiver right there. We can utilize him in different ways. I feel like we can still get the dub against Cleveland. But that being said, if Tucker's a full go, you got to let the guy play. I think they are at that point though, Clayton. Like I don't think any of these players are going to be able to twist anyone's arm anymore if they're not good to go. I don't think Matt's going to let him play. I think we learned our lesson last year.
What do you guys,
Watson?
Sorry, what do you guys think about Whiskey 61's kind of thing? It's saying job one for the tight end is going to be Chip and Garrett. Let's assume that Kraft can't go. Which one of those three tight ends would you trust more to be able to be that kind of a physical type to be able to really, not let Garrett run free and put our tackles in rough positions?
Ben Sims.
For
That's
me,
what I was
all
thinking.
three. Like any NFL team in the league should be able to chip. Chip is nothing. With the chip, you're not like, okay, I've got to go out here and block Myles Garrett. The ball is snapped. You're going to try to sell a little bit of a route right off the bat, slide over, bang, hit him in the chest, catch it, 3/4 of the body or a quarter of the body rather, and then get into your route. Anybody should be able to do it at the NFL level. If you're talking about who's the best, most equipped to do it, I think Musgrave is probably the least equipped of those guys, right? He's more of a receiving tight end, but I think all three could do it personally.
Absolutely. Yeah, and the chip is really you're just a leak route at the end most of the time, or maybe a little curl. I just want you to be the relief out for the quarterback. That's the biggest thing on the chip. Because half the time they go to line them up, they don't even get the full piece of the dude, or they kind of fall when they do it, things like that. I just want you to be ready to catch the ball from Jordan Love. But on that on the total Packers clip that they put up on Green Bay on their YouTube page, Matt was talking about how when he gets them into 13 personnel, the defensive play sheet, their play call sheet shrinks a lot on the defensive coordinator side. That's why he kind of likes to work that in, get that look, because you kind of only land on a couple of plays. You're not getting a bunch of those crazy looks. Who's out there? Kind of probably their base package. And Matt, we have a lot of tight ends that are a lot more athletic than maybe the base package is on defense, and you can kind of guess where those calls might be down and distance wise.
Yeah. As Coach Lynn says here, Tim, I want Brooks helping to chip Garrett, go 21 personnel. I could see that too. That's what they love about Brooks, right? So you see him implemented a little bit more into the game plan probably if Kraft can't go as well.
I would agree. And, we talked about the run game, not just running the football, but also, using your backs, to help protect Jordan a little bit against this Cleveland front. I think there's truth to that. I don't see anything wrong with mixing up some of those personnel groupings. You got to do what you got to do to get out of Cleveland with a win. We talked about the spread and all this stuff, and how much do we think they're going to win by? I don't care. Win by a point. Just
one.
Get out of there. Just get out of there with a win. That's all that matters. And so I think Coach Len is absolutely right. I think we're going to see 11. I think we're going to see 21. I think we're going to see some 12. We might even see 13 again. You never know.
Yeah. And for those of you watching this video back later and not on the live stream, let us know in the comments what you think. Do you think Tucker will go? We want to hear from you. And also make sure you hit subscribe and click that bell icon so you're notified every time we do go live here in the future. All right, let's move along, boys, to the game plan that we put together here, okay? Really excited about this. What I did was just kind of comb through, looked at the Browns roster, used a little bit of AI data as well. Hey, give me the download there. If there's any errors in this article, you guys let me know, okay? Say, hey, Clayton, that guy right there, hasn't gotten as many snaps, or this dude here ain't even on the roster. I don't know the Browns that well. Tried to comb through and pick out, all right, who are the Tuesday players, that type of thing. And I'm going to evolve it a little bit more as the season goes along and we get into seeing what works and what doesn't. So here we go. Just a quick rundown. Packers at the Browns, Week 3 preview. Obviously going to be on Sunday, September 21st, 1 o'clock kickoff Eastern. That's 12 Lombardi time. You've got Huntington Bank Field as the setting there in Cleveland, Ohio. The current forecast is 67 degrees and partly cloudy, absolute perfect football weather. It's going to be broadcast on Fox. I think they're going to have it on the local Milwaukee Fox 6 for those of you guys. I know we got a lot of Milwaukee viewers here that check out the show. Betting odds, as it sits right now, it's still sitting as the Packers at 7.5-point favorites. I think at one point it got to 8. It's back to 7.5, depending on what bookie you're looking at there. So with the match up overview, the Green Bay Packers 2-0 travel to Cleveland to face the winless Browns 0-2 in a Week 3 matchup. The Packers are favored to win, continuing their strong start to the season. However, the Browns defense, particularly their defensive end, Myles Garrett, presents a significant challenge. Garrett leads the league in sacks at 3.5 and tackles for a loss with 6, according to Spectrum News. Packers quarterback Jordan Love acknowledged the Browns' sound defense and their tendency to stick to their established game plan. So anything that you guys have before we get into the key storylines there? Jacob, I know you heard Hafley talking earlier today, right? Is there anything that sticks out to you? Did he say anything specifically about this matchup against the Browns, obviously with our defense going up against their offense?
What he was really talking about, a lot of it was how he's so impressed with how the defense in general has done with pre-snap communication and how they've been almost in practice during the games, mid-game on the sidelines. He said he's never had a defense that was so talkative and communicative, which I can see it. I literally watch it pre-snap. You see guys absolutely talking to each other, and he talked about whether or not it's X communicating down to Quay talking to the D-line, and just how much that affects what an offense tries to do. He talked about how he has a lot of respect for Joe Flacco coming into his 17th year in the league, but that he thinks that he can't be vanilla with Joe Flacco because he's been there for 17 years and he understands what defenses are trying to do, how they're trying to read certain situations. So I'm excited to see if he gets into his bag just a little bit more, you know.
You talk about the communication. It takes me back to like day 2 of training camp when we saw Coach Ogabasi out there screaming at the guys after the drills. You know, you got to talk, man, got to talk to each other now, got to communicate. I mean, this is something that was stressed very early in camp, and yet another thing that we're seeing translate to the field here in the regular season. That's awesome.
Mm-hmm. And you think about it, Tim, when you're playing at home, you got the crowd rattling on third down, right? So they also have the hand signals. They're trying to get the communication across. Listening to that Richard Sherman, Evan Williams pod, he was talking about how they have those calls. And honestly, if anyone's listening, go back and watch that. They literally broke down the play that Evan picked off the ball on. It was super cool. You know, Sherman thought it was a cover 3. It was actually a man show man, but it was actually a cover 2 late rotation. It was crazy the way Evan was explaining it. So maybe we'll pull the clip or something. But you know, you have any good defense has communication. Same with when I was playing lacrosse. If you weren't talking, I mean, they were going to cook you. You know what I mean? That ball gets moving around. You get yourself out of position. Same thing with football. If you're not communicating in the secondary, you're going to be lost by the time the game's over with.
Especially in Hafley's system where we show so much pre-snap sugar. And then by the time the ball snapped, the defense looks totally different. Everybody's got to be on the same page.
And got to know what the next person's doing too, right, Tim? Like Evan's got to know what X is doing, where Bull's going to be when he ends up after the place, you know, where Keyshawn's going to be leveraging, all that stuff. You kind of need to know 5 positions, even though you're the safety or, you know, the corner, whatever.
Absolutely.
Yeah. The other thing he said real quick is that, this is a test. It's the first time they've been on the road. We're not going to have that Green Bay faithful absolutely just blowing up the stadium with the noise on that third down. So he said it's going to be up to us to get basically walk in there with our piss hot is kind of what he, long story short, said. And 2, he said he hopes the Packer faithful will travel well so that there will be a little bit of a murmur. But he said it's going to be a really good test to see if this defense is at the point where everybody is hailing it to be, you know, once we get into a first road situation. So I'm excited to see that too.
And glad you mentioned that this is the Packers' first road game of the season. This marks the Packers, like I said, first road game of the 2025 season, I should say. Series history, the Packers lead the all-time series against the Browns 14-7, including 1 playoff win. They have won the last 4 meetings, with the last 2 decided by a combined 8 points. Green Bay's last win in Cleveland was a 27-21 overtime victory in 2017. The Browns' turnover woes, all right? The Browns have struggled with turnovers, losing the turnover battle in 9 consecutive games. Jeez, they haven't forced an interception since playing Denver last year. This contrasts sharply with the Packers, who consistently win the turnover battle. The Packers, to the best of my knowledge, too, have not turned the ball over 1 time in the first 2 games, right? Got to keep that going. Browns offensive struggles. Browns quarterback Joe Flacco has had a tough start to the season, throwing more interceptions, 3 than touchdowns to 2, and ranking 30th in the league with a 70.1 passer rating. He was benched in week 2, according to the Caledonian, I think I'm saying that right, record. The Browns offense has been described as being, quote, in preseason form heading into this matchup. Browns run defense. The Browns boast a strong run defense, allowing only 45.5 rushing yards per game, the second best mark in the league. They stifled the top-ranked rushing attack of the Ravens in week 2, holding them to just 45 yards on 21 attempts. This poses a challenge for the Packers running back Josh Jacobs, who is averaging 3.6 yards per carry this season compared to 4.4 last season. And, of course, the Browns have a rookie running back, rookie Quinshon Judkins out of Ohio State, made a promising debut against the Ravens, rushing for 61 yards on 10 carries. He could see an increased role in the Browns offense as he showed a flash there last week. So with that being said, right out of the gate, Browns run defense is nothing to play around with. You're going to kind of be hitting your head against the wall all day, right? So that's where we were saying, why not pull back a little bit, press into 11 personnel, open things up a bit, and see if you can run the rock out of 11 personnel. But what do y'all think about what we've covered here so far before we get into some of the injuries?
I think you're right about the run defense. It's legit. It's really the defensive side of the ball is the bright spot for the Browns right now. So I think you're right. I think we probably do lean on the pass game a little bit. It's just one of those things where I've got this little concern in the back of my head that if we're just chucking that ball down the field all day, it's going to be a long day for us. We've got to find a way to generate some kind of a running attack. And not let this Browns defense win off a reputation, man. Go out there and run right at them. Let's just see what we can do. Try and get Josh going early. And I'm okay with 3.5 yards an attempt. Move the sticks. Give us 3rd and shorts, man. I mean, the way this offense has executed on 3rd down so far this season, I think it's a credit to the fact that we've been in 3rd and 4s and 3rd and 5s, 3rd and 3s, not a lot of 3rd and 10s, things like that. So I just hope they don't run away from the run game.
Right. As Jen Wright says here, you can always throw to set up the run, but I agree with you, Tim. You got to be a little bit careful there and not get too far away from it, Right. Go ahead, Emilio, what you got, man?
Yeah, I think Jim kind of hit it here. I was going to say, he said, I asked Rock, what are the key matchups between the Packers-Browns game this Sunday? Said 1, quarterback Jordan Love versus Browns secondary, Denzel Ward, Greg Newsome. Browns ranked 3rd in passing D, allowed 146 yards a game, where Jordan Love averages 240. I think that's a fair point. That's exactly to Tim's point. We got to stick to the running game, and you're going to have one of those games. I think that it was Keyshawn or Matthew Golden, someone who was talking about, you get later in the game, it's Josh Jacobs' time, right? He's going to be fed. He's going to get going. That's not a problem. We just want to get it going in the first half. That's all we're kind of asking for. You don't need to go crazy. Jordan doesn't need to hum it down the field unless it's open. But then, you get a couple runs in there. They get a little greedy. They maybe bring a safety down. We can get Matthew Golden going in the game too. I think that's something you want to lean on too.
Yeah, when you look at the coverage standpoint here, Jacob, from last year, the Browns last year, to the best of my knowledge, their coaching staff is pretty intact from last year. You got Kevin Stefanski back. I imagine they get the same DC back. I want to say is it Schwartz? Am I thinking right, guys? Jim Schwartz?
Jim Schwartz.
I could be wrong there. Regardless, last year they ran cover 1 man 35% of the time. They ran cover 3 30% of the time. So you're going to have middle field closed the majority of the time. Now, this young season, only 2 games in, they have ran cover 1 man 46% of the time, cover 2 zone 21% of the time, cover 3 18% of the time. I would be shocked if, knowing what we know now, Jacob, and looking at that kind of game plan there and what they do well, what they do not so well, I would be shocked if they come out and cover 1 man a lot more. They're probably going to want to make sure Green Bay can't establish a run game. So I could see them being more of a zone look. You'll probably see a little more cover 3 zone than we have seen in this early year.
Yeah, I kind of agree too, and it makes more sense to me. Like what Tim and everybody in the chat has kind of been saying, with us possibly not having Kraft, with us not having Reed, with the way that the defensive backs for them have really been showing out, and with the fact that if you want to isolate a guy like Myles Garrett, in my opinion, you try to run it down his throat, and you can keep him kind of off his game of being able to set up his pass rush rhythm. In addition to that, I don't know if you guys know this, but Jacobs, if he gets a touchdown this game, he will tie the all-time consecutive touchdown record with LaDainian Tomlinson.
Dog.
So
You got to make that happen, man.
That's freaking insane, bro. So there's multiple, things that are kind of pointing to that the Packers need to try to get this run game established.
If a receiver gets loose down the field, make sure you just trip and fall on the 1 yard line. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Let's get that record for Josh Jacobs. So, anything else on that, boys, before we get into the injuries here outside of the Tucker Kraft injury?
Just that 1965 NFL championship game, Packers defeated the Browns 23-12.
That was that playoff loss or that playoff win that they were talking about.
That it was, Clay. That it was, baby.
That was the Mud Bowl, Tim. You remember that one? It was Jim Brown. They held Jim Brown to a really low rushing yard. If I remember,
I don't remember it. I wasn't live. Not that old, Clayton.
We'll go watch the highlights after this.
But no, I've seen the footage that's out there. Yeah, for sure.
Real quick, what do you guys think about Chuck Jagger's question? Have we run any screens yet this year? I mean, I honestly can't remember seeing any other than.
Yeah, it's funny you say that too, Chuck, because when we get a little later in the game plan here, you're going to see that I mentioned specifically RPOs, get the running game going through the RPOs, make those linebackers have to choose, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's one way you can open up the running game against them as well. So we'll get into that in a second. Let's go injuries here. Packers wide receiver Jaden Reed is out after the clavicle and foot surgery. Offensive lineman Zach Tom with the oblique and Aaron Banks with the groin practiced on Wednesday and hope to play, although Tom's status is uncertain. Sounds like Aaron Banks is going to be good to go. We should find out tomorrow whether or not Tom's going to be able to go. I'm saying no. I don't know how y'all feel about it, but I don't think Tom will be ready to go. Tight end Tucker Kraft went down at practice today with a knee injury. As of right now, information is limited on his status. What do y'all think? Has anything changed on the Zach Tom front there? Let's go around the horn with that real quick. You got to make the call right now based off the information that we have, the limited information us stupid fans have. Mm-hmm. Would you guys start or sit Zach Tom?
Sit him. Go heat up the bench, Zach Tom. I don't need you right now. I'm sorry. I just don't want him to. The way he was looking at it, I'm glad he looks better today, Jen. I haven't seen the clips, but yesterday it just looked rough, and it's awkward because one wrong strain, if you're trying to stop Myles Garrett, or even if it is the other end, I'd rather not risk it. It's real early in the season.
What good would it do to run him out there, start him, he gets 5 snaps, and then he's out anyway? And then
it'd be like the Bach thing, right, Tim? It's like, well, let's put him in one game, and then we don't get to use him in the playoffs. It's like,
exactly.
All right.
Exactly.
Yeah. We don't like you that, Jam.
He's just too valuable of a piece on that in that wall, like that's literally an anchor of that O-line wall that we have. So I would be careful. Yeah,
it seems like the majority of the chat is suggesting that we go along with the safer than sorry route. And somebody else said in there that, that's a long season type thing. I would much rather have Tom down the stretch. I think that against a team like the Browns, we have a better chance of winning even without him. And down the end of that schedule, we're going to face a few more kind of better opponents, I would say, to say the least. So I want to save him up and have him for the long haul.
Mm-hmm. And Packers are conservative with injuries. I hate it and love it. We saw with what happened with Christian. I feel like you're going to try to avoid those moving forward. If you have to keep a dude out for another game, it's not the worst thing in the world.
Yeah, definitely. All right. Can't tell y'all how excited I am to see Shabuzi kicking off Thursday Night Football every week, man. I'm the biggest Shabuzi stan there is.
I know you are.
What is the Shabuzi?
Oh, my.
What? Is that like a –
Who?
Never mind, Jacob. Never mind.
What is it? Now I want to know.
Did you just say what is a Shabuzi?
Yes.
A Shabuzi is a artist.
I'm going to say
artist. Jacob.
I'm going to say some lyrics here, Jacob. Oh my good Lord! Someone pour me up a double shot of whiskey.
Oh, that's okay.
Yeah,
I have no idea who that is.
Jacob, you should be familiar.
Oh, that's a Shabuzi. That's
Shabuzi.
Jacob, they play that song every 6 songs at the office. How do you not know that?
Okay, Jason says I'm such a boomer. Come on now, hey.
Oh, we're gonna give him some.
He's awesome, man. Shabuzi is the man. If you get a chance, just go listen to bar song Shabuzi. And if you don't have a drink in your hand by the end of the night, there's something wrong. I'm just telling you right now. Mm-hmm. He's awesome. So we already talked about Tucker Kraft. So let's move along to the Browns injury report. Jeremy Burt's. He's 123% Caucasian. He says, I have no idea.
Too old for this. Jacob is the one dude on the show that I would have thought was a Shabuzi fan.
Right. Exactly. It's the perfect. Yeah. Exactly. All right. So Browns or right tackle Jack Conklin Is that right, Jack Conklin? Does that sound right to you, Emilio? Is that right? Did they get a right tackle named Jack Conklin? Why am I thinking that's a linebacker? Is that really an offensive lineman?
Yeah,
anyway,
but
let's trust it. We'll trust
I thought it was Connerly, though. Never mind.
Yeah, no, it's Conklin. There it is on the official injury report. All right. So Conklin returned to practice on Wednesday as a limited participant after an elbow injury in week 1. Guard Joe Batonio with the back and wide receiver DeAndre Carter with the concussion did not participate. It sounded, I want to say there were some reports that said Joe Batonio was actually going to be out this game. So I don't know if they determined that early. It's not listed on the official game status yet. However, he has not practiced all week. That's going to be a huge missing link for them, in my opinion, if you don't have Joe Batonio, because he's arguably the best offensive lineman on that team, you know? So what do y'all think about the rest of this injury report here for the Cleveland Browns? You got Joe Batonio did not participate. Limited was DeAndre Carter, wide receiver. Looks like Malik Collins, defensive tackle, on that rest. We expect him to play. Obviously, he's back to full participation. Jack Conklin was limited. Looks like Grant Delpit with the back was upgraded to full participation. Mike Hall Jr., defensive tackle with the knee, went from limited to did not participate, so he might be trending in the opposite direction. And then Denzel Ward was full participation there, obviously.
Oh, yeah. He'll be out there to get cooked by Matthew Golden for sure.
And Batonio, real quick, just to give you guys a rundown. This year, only 2 games, 78.7, but his career grades, 79, 69, 78, 75, 80, 74, 85, 93, 87, 67, 63. So it's arguably their best offensive lineman on their entire team there. So that could be huge if he's out, you know?
Yeah. I mean, it looks like that on their end, they may have a little bit of trouble with in the trenches, be a little banged up on the offensive line, be a little banged up on the interior defensive line. What more reason for us to try to push that running game right away and to give our guys, maybe get a little cheetah package in there, maybe get a little, just have Devontae Wyatt, who, again, leads the league in pressures, if I'm not mistaken. So, I'm excited to see this matchup here for sure.
Am I the only one that's surprised that Jacob is not upset that they didn't call it the Cougar package? Does anybody else think that's –
Well, come on. Don't drag those ladies through the dirt. They try hard.
I know Jacob's upset about that.
All right. Anything else on the injury report? Tim, you got anything to add, man?
No, how can I follow that? I mean,
there you go. Yeah, it's Jason Wise says Jacob wants it to be called the Cox package. So unbelievable. All right, moving along. Conclusion, just for the quick preview there. All right, the Packers enter this game with a strong record and a favorable matchup on paper. However, they face a formidable pass rush led by Myles Garrett and a stingy Browns run defense. The Browns struggles with turnovers and quarterback play present significant challenges for their offense. An upset victory for the Browns would be a surprise, but as always, weird things happen in this league all the time. We'll move along now to the game plan. All right, you ready for this, boys? To defeat the Cleveland Browns in Week 3, the Green Bay Packers should focus on the following key areas. Number one, let's start with offense. Number one, protect Jordan Love. The Browns boast a strong pass rush with Myles Garrett. Packers need to ensure Jordan Love has a clean pocket and time to throw. This may involve implementing quick passes and timing routes to get the ball out quickly, specifically utilizing the RPO aspect of LaFleur's offense. Force the Browns linebackers into conflict with bubble and smoke screen RPOs. I want to paint a picture. Imagine a trips left look out of 11 personnel, right? And you've got the DBs lined up over there. You got the backers still in the box. What the backers are going to look at when you run that RPO, you put the ball in the belly. If you catch that linebacker cheating toward a zone and not biting on the run, then you're probably going to want to look to, if he's cheating to his zone, just hand the ball off. That's how you can work them out of that box a little bit right now. If you fire that RPO out there a couple times, couple bubble screens to Matthew Golden, get him on the run out there, get a lead blocker. Imagine a trips left set with Malik Heath out there lead blocking and a quick bubble, right? Quick bubble screen to Matthew Golden. You hit that 2 or 3 times in the game and watch that linebacker start to sidestep out there a little bit. That's going to open up the box touch for Josh Jacobs, if that makes sense.
That's a great point about the RPO, because you can use it as like intelligence gathering too. You call a couple of those looks, you're gonna see how that defense is, leaning coverage and biting.
Yeah.
So another thing, utilizing chip blocks from running backs and tight ends on Myles Garrett. We kind of already hit on that a little bit. Get a little more Chris Brooks involved, chipping coming out of the backfield. Also, someone else had mentioned in the chat, don't be afraid to put Malik Heath in that wing that you used to put Christian Watson in. Let him, get a little smack on Myles Garrett on his way out of the backfield as well, right? And then, of course, potentially adjusting the offensive line assignments if Zach Tom remains sidelined. Here's the other thing, too. We're a little worried. All right, where's Myles Garrett going to line up? I want to say less than 10% of his pass rushes this year, less than 10%, have been over the right tackle. So the large majority of the time, he is going to be lining up over the left tackle unless they specifically change something to take advantage of whoever's playing at right tackle. The point being, if we see Myles Garrett over there, if you see 95 over there over top of whether it's Belton or Kennard, whoever, that's the side your chip needs to go to, period, case closed. So anything you guys want to add to that there in terms of protecting Jordan Love?
Hey, Jacob, can you put I starred one of Ron Sandville's comments there. Can you put that up on the screen? I think it'd be a good not that one. There was the other one. Maybe it wasn't Ron talking about Belton.
There we go. Dead fish.
What if Belton starts in place of Tom and absolutely handles Garrett? I love that. Because that's where my head went. It's like, what if we put him out there and Escalade holds his own, and obviously we're still going to have to throw in some chips, but I think it'd be a great test for Big Escalade going up against one of the best in the business. I don't know. What are your thoughts, guys?
I actually agree with that. I saw that highlighted and wanted to keep that until it was the appropriate timing. And like you said, man, we've seen glimpses, but it's been not just a few. We've seen like multiple instances where you see how physical Belton is, and just literally almost with ease, he can decleat people with small little hip shakes and just little stabs of his arm. It's like the man's power is very underrated, and we saw it maybe in the draft process and some tape he's put on film here, and he just needs to clean up, being a little more comfortable, being a little more penalty free, obviously, and maybe the pre-snap stuff. But you see a guy that is an absolute road grader out there, and he is. I would love to see it, Tim. I'd love to see it.
Me too.
Mm-hmm. All right, so run defense rankings. This is what they do well, guys. This is early in the 2025 season here, 2 games in. They lead the league in yards per rush allowed at 2.1. Look who's in second place, 2.4. Your Green Bay Packers. Love to see it, right? So again, you're going to be kind of banging your head against the wall running the football. You're probably going to want to establish the pass a little bit early, try to soften that up, whether it's through the RPO game or, Matt LaFleur. He's been taking shots down the field early as well, Emilio. He coming out on first down, letting Jordan Love can out of it and take a shot down the field.
Yeah, let him spin it. But if speaking of the run game, if we do get it going against Cleveland, that might be the excitement or sort of the push that run game needs. It didn't happen versus the Lions versus the Commanders, but if we can get it going against the best run defense team in the league, now you got something to build off of. Now you can really go somewhere with that. So I definitely think that's a 100% a possibility. Timothy mentioned it here, but it was Steno was talking about it. But he said one thing I just thought of in practice: Packers can use Micah Parsons to simulate Myles Garrett. Yes. Literally Steno was talking about that earlier in his interview. It was like, yeah, he literally started cutting the question off. They were like, so you have Micah Parsons. How does that work with Myles Garrett? Yes. Yep. No, we exactly can use him. It's the energy. It's the drive, the will to win, all of those things. Just kind of having that lead, edge dog. You can kind of simulate that, which is nice that we're able to sort of lean into that just going into practice.
Definitely. And Tim, you kind of talked about establishing a run, right? Strategically here. Yep. While the Browns have an excellent run defense, establishing a run, particularly with Josh Jacobs, can be crucial to set the tempo and open up play action opportunities. The Packers should be patient with the run game and look for opportunities to run outside or use misdirection. Utilize play action passes off the run game to exploit the Browns' strong run defense. Typically, Tim, when you got a strong run defense, they're aggressive, biting on that play action, right?
Yep.
So don't be afraid to stretch that thing out wide and boot off of it. I want to say this very clearly. Boot away from Myles Garrett, please. What do you think, Tim?
Absolutely. No, I agree. I think that's important because they got to believe we're going to run the ball. That's been my point all along. Like you can only use that aggressiveness against them if they really believe you're going to run the ball, and this is the way to do it. I totally agree. I think you got to be strategic. when establishing the run game, and use it to set up your shot plays and your passing attack.
Yeah.
Clayton,
go ahead, Jake.
if you were the coach, if you're the offensive coordinator, whatever the case, and you had your first 15, 20 plays scripted, what would your kind of differential be between run and pass plays?
It would be, you would not be able to guess it. I would come out RPO heavy for opening drive. I would have 5 or 6 RPOs called right in a row, and that way, whatever the defense decides to take away, you're going to play to the other effect, And the beautiful thing is we haven't seen many RPOs in this early season here, right? So if they're watching the last 2 games saturation, they being obviously the Cleveland Browns, their mind is going to be steered away from the RPO a bit, right? Because you're going to look at typically what coaching staffs do is they look at your last 2 head-to-head matchups against that coaching staff, and then they get a 4-game saturation of the previous 4 games of said team. So they'll probably go back to the final 2. They'll probably look at what Philly did to Green Bay in the playoffs, right? And then they'll look at these 2 games early. So if they're leaning more into recency bias, the RPO is not going to be on the forefront of their mind, right? Mm-hmm. So I would come out RPO heavy on the opening drive. I would. And you know what? If those backers bite on the run, then, like I said, swing that bubble out there, swing that smoke out there, and pick up, anywhere from 3 to 7 yards a clip until they start to ease up a little bit. You can also throw a lookie in there, right? Especially if those linebackers are biting. Hammer that slant over the middle of an RPO look.
Hey, what about the RPO pop? I mean, come on, that one is unbelievable. If the linebackers are sleeping on it, 10 plus, easy.
Yep. What about have we talked about maybe running some counter?
Oh yeah, see, that's the other thing. I think it's in the game. It might be in the game plan here in a minute. I know I put it in. I may have taken it out. Running counter away from Myles Garrett, and also a little trap look to Garrett's side. Let him get too aggressive inside and have a sift or something kind of come through, or an 0-1 trap and take care of him. The game plan, whether it's the run or the pass, has got to be geared around. He is the Tuesday player on this team. There's no 2 ways about it, right? He's that guy that everything's got to be geared around. Don't let him wreck your game plan, period. So the quick slant to Golden, right? That sounds good too, Ron, but if they play a lot of cover 1 man, you would think if they're in cover 1 man, as long as there's no drop, right? As long as there's no linebacker drop or any kind of a cover 1 robber, you should be able to hammer those slants, because what's going to happen is they're going to play outside leverage because they've got middle field help, right? So you would think, theoretically speaking, the slant should be there, but you got to be careful because they will sneak. They'll trick you right into throwing an interception there if they do play a little drop, or Lord forbid they show a little cover 1 man and then run a cover 3 fire zone. Because remember what we opened up with? We opened up with talking about, hey, they're playing more cover 1 man than they did last year. This might be the game that they tweak it back to cover 3 zone. So if they're showing cover 1 man and they're sugaring you like that, and then all of a sudden they come out in a cover 3 buzz post snap, Jordan thinks it's cover 1 man, and you see in buzz that safety buzzes to the hook curl, that slant can get picked off really, really quick. Same thing with the linebackers dropping in the hook curl, because their linebackers, if I remember correctly, I won't put it on the screen, but I'll just tell you guys, in their base defense, right? Bush is 91.3 PFF grade, second best in the league. Swisinger, like you were saying, Emilio, 82.2. And then Baker, their sandbacker in their base 4-3 here, is a 75.9. Linebacker is probably the strength of their team. That's why I would rather than focus on the slants and everything, I would focus on the bubbles and the smokes, because that's outside away from the backers, but you're still manipulating them with that quick passing game.
Right. And if you're thinking linebackers maybe they're, the best part of their defense, how often are you going to want them to be in base? Maybe we do get away. Maybe we stay in 13. I don't know. Maybe we stay in, 11 personnel, or maybe we go 10 personnel, pull all the tight ends off, put all our wideouts out there. We can do it. Obviously you lost Reed, but it's not like we don't have, some depth there. And again, it just kind of looks like I'm happy that Goody built the roster that way, because we have depth at every position. We've lost a wide receiver, a tight end, a lineman, and we've still been able to just kind of refill and keep going.
Yeah. Tim, we got breaking news here. Did you see this in the chat? Holy cow, man. We got breaking news. Respect Orange just says Daryl started an adult boy band called Drunk Uncles. Now back to your regularly scheduled program here. With the passing defense, yards per pass attempt, I want to be very clear. Their run defense is great. Their pass defense is solid too. Even though they're ranked 9th, and you think, okay, that's not in the top 3 like their run defense, 5.6 yards per pass attempt is actually tied for 7th best. Now, Green Bay, number 1 in the league at 4.7. Love seeing that. So their defense is good. On paper, our defense is better right now. This kind of feels like one of those games. Don't turn the ball over.
Yep.
Let them make the mistakes. Don't feel like you got to go out there and win by 14 points.
Mm-hmm.
Play the game plan, protect the football, control the time of possession, win the turnover.
Damn field goal on 4th down.
Please, for the love of God, if I see a jet sweep on 4th and 1 from their 30-yard line, I'm going to.
I'd probably call it. I'd probably run that.
You
play.
would.
I'm honest. Hey, if you can go and get 7, go and get 7 for me, Matt.
Here's Emilio right here.
I'm telling you, Tim.
I'll tell you what I wouldn't mind on 4th and 1 if you decide to go for it. Give me that 83 Wildcat again. Because I'm telling you, man, Savion Williams.
Jordan on that one.
Oh, Lord, have mercy, Tim.
They were they were asking Steno about that, and he said, well, Savion learned what it's like to be, to run on Lambeau now with that. He said, I thought he might have been able to break it if he had kept his footing, but they were asking him now, can he throw? And he goes, well, Savion claims that he can, but
we got it on tape that he can. Come on.
He goes, but I guess, I don't know. We'll see. And I think that might be in there for maybe week 12 or something. Just a little sprinkle of it.
I like the way that he kept both hands on the ball the whole time when he faked that toss. A lot of times you see those plays will just fall apart because you just cough the ball up.
The ball's golden, right, Tim? We need that thing. That's your moneymaker right there.
That's right.
All right, attack the Browns secondary. Despite strong defensive line play, the Browns secondary has shown vulnerabilities, allowing Lamar Jackson to throw for 5 touchdowns in week 2. I didn't realize that. You guys fact-check that, double-check that. That's what AI pulled. The Packers should look to exploit this by testing the Browns cornerbacks, especially Greg Newsome and Cameron Mitchell, utilizing tight end Tucker Kraft, if he's out there, who is coming off a strong performance to create mismatches, employing a variety of schemes and formations to keep the Browns defense off balance. Don't settle into just one personnel. Keep those rotations coming on and off the field, and who knows, you might be able to get a free player or two. But we know Jordan Love carrying on that Aaron Rodgers tradition of that, right? Utilize motion and spacing. That's another huge thing. When we were talking 83 Wildcat kind of tongue-in-cheek just now, that's something that you could keep them a little bit off balance with too if you decide to go to that 83 Wildcat. So the Packers are described as an excellent motion team. Using motion and spreading out the Browns defense can help create throwing lanes and isolate defenders. So that's what we got on offense. We'll jump into the defensive side real quick now. Anything else you guys want to add on offense there? Anything at all? Good? All right. So defense, number 1, guys, pressure Joe Flacco. The Browns offense has struggled, and Joe Flacco has been vulnerable under pressure, throwing 3 interceptions in the first 2 weeks. The Packers tied for 2nd in the league with 8 sacks. Should look to capitalize on this by continuing to bring pressure with Micah Parsons and Rashawn Gary, utilizing stunts and blitzes to confuse the Browns offensive line and get to the quarterback, especially if Joe Bitonio is not in the lineup, right? Forcing Flacco to move off his spot and throw from uncomfortable positions. Right?
Get over here! Built to ass. PTA. Know what I'm saying?
So the key there is, listen, don't touch spy. We're not concerned about the touch spy. You want to be a little bit, I don't want to say conservative, but be very aware of Quinshon Judkins, because if he does come out and he's averaging 6 yards a pop again, he can gash you in the run game. So be aware of that. Keep your run gap integrity, right? However, I don't want to see any touch spies on passing situations. There's no worries whatsoever for Joe Flacco to scramble with the football. Get after his ass in the pocket, and like it says, move him off the spot. As you can see here, the Packers are tied for 2nd most sacks per game at 4 sacks per game, tied with the LA Rams and the New Orleans Saints. New England leads the way at 4.5 sacks per game so far. Cleveland is sitting tied in the 8th spot with 3 sacks per game. What do y'all think about that with Joe Flacco? Do y'all disagree, agree, kind of try to get him off his spot, but don't worry about him scrambling, right?
Yeah, I would agree with that for sure.
And
you got to bring pressure, with 4, right, as much as you can. And then, utilizing the stunts. We know how this D-line's capable of playing, man. It's going to be fun to watch the boys out there in the trenches, honestly.
Yeah, that's the other thing, though, Tim. Right? It's like Joe Flacco is a veteran, absolutely. So it's not like Hafley can kind of really draw up anything that's going to be a sim that's that he maybe has never seen before, right? We
Right.
might get one or two of those that might catch him off guard, but he's seen it. He knows where his hot route is. He knows he's got to get it out quick. The question is, can we be there? Are we going to be sticky in coverage? And can that pass rush get there? Yeah, we just need to give him 2-3 seconds. But let's not try to go crazy on scheming something up just to bring forward.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Containing the Browns' run game. While the Browns' run game has struggled, the emergence of rookie Quinshon Judkins could spark the offense. The Packers should focus on stopping the run on early downs to put the Browns' offense in difficult third down situations, swarm to the ball carrier, and limit yardage after contact. Essentially, what we're saying there, guys, don't be afraid to be aggressive at stopping the run. I would much rather look up in the second quarter and go, damn, who's seen it coming? Joe Flacco burned us deep a couple times, rather than letting them just control the clock and run the ball down our throat. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Make Joe Flacco prove he can beat you in the air. If you're gonna guess one way or another, let's guess run over pass.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yep, hell yeah, and let Williams and McKinney earn their check, right? We got legit safeties back there, you know. Let's do it. I totally agree with that, Clay. You know, you don't want to be too I don't know what's the word I'm looking for. You don't want to shy away from being aggressive when it comes to the run, because that's conventional wisdom is like, oh, you're selling out against the run, you're getting lit up deep all day long. Well, you know, tip your cap to Goody, man. He fixed that secondary pretty quickly, and I trust our guys. I really do.
Right. Evan was saying, Heffley lets us play just fast. He goes, hey, I've never really even had a coach that says, I don't care if you make a mistake. It's because you're playing fast. He goes, I don't just want you to play, 100%. Obviously, he'll get on him for a mistake if it keeps happening, things like that. But just play fast, play physical, play as hard as you can, and then we'll figure out everything else after that. And you've seen what that does in 2 games already.
Yeah.
Yep.
Looks like the Dolphins capitalized on their opening drive with a short field, 10 plays, 47 yards. They're going to be leading the Buffalo Bills 7-0 here in the first quarter on the opening drive. For those of you wondering about Thursday Night Football, focus on coverage. All right. Matt LaFleur has emphasized the need for the Packers defense to be dialed in on pass coverage against Joe Flacco's pure throwing ability. This involves disrupting routes at the line of scrimmage, sticking to receivers and preventing completions on deeper throws, communicating effectively in the secondary to avoid breakdowns in coverage. When you look at their receiver room so far, leading the way, Jerry Jeudy has 9 catches for 117 yards. Harold Fannin Jr., tight end, has 12 catches for 111 yards. And David Njoku has 7 catches for 77 yards. So what it tells me is they're tight ends. You want to focus in on, don't let them cook you with the tight end game there. I'm not overly concerned about Jerry Jeudy, although he is their leading receiver as it sits right now. So looks like he's averaging 13 yards per reception. Catch rate over expected. It looks like Harold Fannin Jr. is looking like their best target right now, to plus 9.4% catch rate over expected. So
that's like Emilio brought up last night with Fannin. He's more of a receiving threat than a blocking type at tight end.
Right.
Yeah.
You got to keep track of them. That's it.
Yep.
But I'm not worried about really any of the matchups, if that's what we're getting to. Like, I'm not worried about Evan covering. I'm not worried about Bull covering them. It's like we have enough speed and then we have enough physicality. If it ends up being a safety or a nickel, perfect. If it ends up being one of the linebackers, perfect. We're good both ways.
Yeah. So by executing this game plan, the Packers can leverage their strengths and exploit the Browns' weaknesses to secure a victory in Cleveland. So I want you guys to let us know, all right, at the end of this video, let us know in the comments what y'all think. What do you agree with? What do you disagree with? Is there something else that we're maybe missing, right, in terms of game planning for the Browns? Because you can't overlook any team in the league, man.
Right.
Ain't no two ways about it.
Matt said that in the Total Packers episode. Clayton, I really want to say they wanted to call it Packers Total Access, but it's okay. We got to that first, so they call it Total Packers. But Matt was saying, he goes, yeah, with that, you just got to be ready with the coverage. You got to be ready with the defense. And Hafley was even talking about in his presser, like, I was watching film Wednesday night. He said it was late and he called X and he said, X, I need you to be able to get me into this look or this check. Can you do that? Coach, no problem. I got you. We talked about that earlier. He's the first one in there to watch film with him on Monday morning. And we're super lucky that we have what we do in the secondary on defense in general.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's like you watch X back there. It's like Hafley with pads on,
right.
on the field. It's awesome.
Yeah, sure. All right. And I seen people saying there might be a chance of rain. It may rain on Sunday, says Chuck. Just looking at the latest forecast here, Chuck, they're saying partly cloudy skies in the morning will give way to cloudy skies during the afternoon. A stray shower or thunderstorm is possible, but there is only a 24% chance of rain. Looks like the wind's going to be south at about 10 to 15 miles per hour there. You know, that stadium's obviously right there on the is it the river or the lake? I'm trying to remember. There's a body of water there that does get a little windy there. I think it's the Cuyahoga River, I believe is what it is there.
There you go.
I bet that thing is nice and clean. You know what I mean? Running right through the city of Cleveland. I mean, it's like Knoxville, Emilio. We love the Vol Navy, and we love the fact, hey, when Pat McAfee jumped off that boat a few years ago, I went, Bub, you don't know what you're getting yourself into.
Yeah.
That's some dirty water there.
No. If you want to get in the rivers over here, you got to go to Little River. You got to go up into the mountains and ride one down on a tube or something.
You got to get higher than the trash.
Yeah.
Got to get higher than the trash.
That's the truth. Climb the mountain a little bit, then get in the water. It's nice, but yeah, you don't want to be down there too long.
Yeah. Jacob's been higher than the trash a couple times. Yeah. What happened to him anyway? I look up and he's gone.
He had to, he's got the office calling him there. They got short. Someone got injured and he had to go fill in for him. So
what are you talking about? That's my job.
All right. I did notice too, and you guys, maybe I'm wrong in the chat here. Is it just me or we haven't seen Daryl in a couple of days? Was he in here yesterday? I'm a little worried about our boy Daryl.
Well, he's got rehearsal with his new band.
His new band. I made that joke earlier and I highlighted the comment. I'm like, where is Daryl? I ain't seen him in here. Hopefully he's all right. So Daryl, if you hear this, man, hopefully you're doing well, buddy, up there in the great wilderness of Alaska. So, yeah. All right. Anything else, boys? Anything at all?
Nodak Mike in the chat. Stadium is on Lake Erie.
Appreciate it, Mike. I know there's some rivers that runs through the town there as well, but yeah, that's it gets cold up there too. They say it get bitter cold.
That's true.
Anything else, boys?
Oh yeah, one more time.
Belt to ass.
Yeah.
PTA. You know what I'm saying?
I like it.
Needed that.
You were saying 24% chance of rain. I feel like that's Cleveland's chances of winning this game too, honestly.
Could be, man. Could be. We'll see though. Again, just got to protect the football,
Yep.
Jump out to an early lead. That's the other thing.
Don't beat yourself, right? Don't beat yourself.
Yeah. If you jump out to an early lead and now you pull them away from their running game, you're going to see this pass rush eat. However, you look up in the third quarter and it's a one-score game and they're still able to kind of keep the running game in it, keep it in it. That's when bad things can happen. You let any team hang around in the National Football League, you put yourself at risk of losing one you should win. And I think everybody would agree they should win this game, but you're never going to hear us come in here and be like, oh, yeah, we're winning it. We watch enough football to know any given Sunday anything can happen. So
Absolutely.
All right. That's it, guys. Appreciate everybody hanging out with us. It's just a lot of fun, man. You guys were awesome in the chat. Thank y'all so much for contributing and giving your feedback. If you're watching this video back later, let us know in the comments what you think. What would you change about the game plan? What were some things that we missed? Also, if you want to support what we do here at Packers Total Access, go to patreon.com/Packer Fan Total Access. $3 get you access to everything on the site. Also get you entered into some fun contests, giveaways, things like that. We're going to be giving away an autographed Matthew Golden card. It does not look like that, I promise you. But
Put that off the screen, Emilio. I just ate dinner.
An autographed Matthew Golden rookie card. So if you're a member of the Patreon group, $3 tier, you'll be entered into that giveaway. We'll just spin the wheel in the post game show and give that away. And we got some other cool giveaways coming up here soon too. Just a way for us to give back to those who are supporting the channel out of my own personal memorabilia collection, much of which has been donated by listeners, which is really, really cool. People that just wanted to contribute to the show. So it's cool. We got literally fans that watch the show that are just kind of giving back to each other,
right.
and having fun with it all year long. It's just a really cool community. So
Absolutely.
That being said, Emilio, Tim, appreciate y'all.
Thank you, Tim.
Hopefully Jacob don't pull a butt cheek on the pole tonight, but we'll see y'all tomorrow, 6:30 p.m. Central for PTA Live. Everybody have a wonderful evening. As always, let's go out and be the change we want to see in the world, and go Pack Go.
Here we go.
Yeah.
Bye, guys.